It's not about minimalism, but the idea has to be very simple. Less is better, less is more. But in my case, an object has to be functional, but has to be fun, because the word fun is inside of function.
My name is Oki Sato, and I'm the founder of Nendo.
I guess I'm not really interested in colors or aesthetics, but it's the story behind the object. An object has to be talkative. It has to tell an interesting story. There's so many space for new ideas, for even these simple and everyday objects. Making things better is design. Perfection makes things boring in the end, so I think the next step for technology is how to make them not smart, but stupid in the end. Making pleasant mistakes.
The playtime of the designers is over. The designers have been expelled from paradise, and we have to grow up and behave to the norm of our nowadays society. This Atlantis, or this paradise of graphic diversity, is now overwhelmed by a flood of efficiency requirements. This is my concern. Everything starts to look and work the same. The citizen is addressed as a consumer in the same monocultural way. So, that is why I started to make a plea for the richness and diversity of graphic languages, and I called it the Palace of Typographic Masonry. I created a structure in which each aspect of the profession can get its own space. By now wandering through this, it can be experienced as an immersion into the wonders of graphic design.
My name's Annie Atkins, and I'm a graphic designer for film. Anytime you see a character in a film pick up a newspaper, somebody has to make that newspaper. We're making them so that we can help the actors and director transport themselves into another world. For me, Grand Budapest was a once-in-a-lifetime graphic design experience. The graphics got a lot of screen time in the film, and they were really a part of the storytelling.
Sometimes people ask me about the kerning, the strange kerning and the sign above the hotel. It seems like there's a little bit too much space between the A and the N in Grand, and also maybe between the D and the A in Budapest. Why would you want to put a mistake like that in your movie? The sign that we used as the inspiration is on a real hotel in Cairo. It's clear what's happened here, right? At some point in history, that E has fallen off the roof and someone else has climbed back up a ladder and put it back up again, right? So what we're trying to do in film is take and steal and borrow from the real world around us, and then we can get a step closer to creating something that feels authentic.
Möglichkeiten, den Raum mit einzubeziehen. Die Zürcher Richtung ging dann noch so weit, dass sie das errechnet hat, wo die Position sein muss, aus rechnerischen Gegebenheiten heraus, wie bei Max Bill.
Arbeitest du mit Raster?
Durch den Raster werde ich in einen Käfig gezwungen und kann nicht rückwärts und vorwärts und hoch und runter, weil da immer das Ende ist.
Das hast du dann im Ende.
Und das war mit ein Grund, das nicht nur zu ändern, sondern es war ein Grund zu ändern. Ja, die haben ihren Sandwich gegessen und haben gedacht, ich wäre springt.
But actually, I did learn something else at CalArts. In that time, they came out with these femme sprays, and I did this sticker that said, "Your vagina smells fine just the way it is, naturally." And also, the company here, Label House, you can't get like 20 of these. You had to get 500 of these. So I had like an inordinate amount of these stickers. So I gave them out to students to put up on these things, and one of them got apprehended by the police. And that's how I learned that you can't do things in the public sphere that they don't want. You have to negotiate with them to do these things. So by the time I got to Yale, when students wanted to do those kinds of things, I said, I tacitly give you approval, but I can't facilitate it. It's not the school, it has to be from you. If you want to do something illegal, that's your right. I will help you, but as a person separate from the school. So I learned that in my days at Cal Arts, but the hard way, because I really felt bad for the woman. To have the police stop you is scary. And we got her off. That part's good.
As a graphic designer, I really like to collect things. We often find ourselves taking pictures of the same things, again and again. Like this, we're always subconsciously collecting things, and over time, these collections become archives. What do the things you collect say about you, and what do they mean to you? When you reflect on your memories, moments of fiction always appear within the truth. It's impossible to be completely objective, and that's what makes the way memory distorts experiences feel almost magical. And the main reason why I collect is because it's my way of reflecting on these memories.
A light fixture should not be glary. One should not be able to look directly at the light source. My name is Chaerin Panton. I'm the daughter of architect and designer Werner Panton and Marieke Panton. At the time, it might have been the novelty and freshness of his design that spoke to people. For my father, light was always part of his creative universe. Werner Panton did not approach his work with the intention of designing something which was deliberately timeless. He was above all an imaginative and curious spirit, deeply fascinated with form, patterns, and colors, and that was his creative language. He never followed any trends. He had his own unique style.
「貧しい者は美を手に入れにくい」ということがありますね。現代では特に。それで何カラットの宝石ダイヤモンドがいいとか、スポーツカーに乗りたいとか、そういうものがいいドレスを着たい。しかしわびさびの世界っていうのは、自分で発見すれば、それはもうただの竹を切っただけでもいいんです。やっぱりグラフィックデザインっていうのは職業になりすぎたためだと思います。ですからあるクライアントから要望があって、こういうものを作りたいと言いますね。どうしてもサービス過剰になって余計なものが入ってくるんですよね。だからもっとシンプルにやっていくと、それからやっぱりもう少し機能に密着してないとね。
Hello， 我是高涵，我是一个设计师。
对我来说，设计是一个思维的过程，脑子里总有一些奇怪的想法和画面，并且有冲动想实现出来。设计的思考一直都在，是一种比较契合的共生关系。设计已经变成一种行为， 和个人的背景和当下的经历密不可分。所以一直都会想着尝试做不同的东西。
It feels like we're all suffering from information overload or data glut, and the good news is there might be an easy solution to that, and that's using our eyes more. If you're navigating a dense information jungle, coming across a beautiful graphic or a lovely data visualization, it's a relief. It's like coming across a clearing in the jungle. I feel like every day, all of us now are being blasted by information design. It's being poured into our eyes through the web. So, by visualizing this information, we've turned it into a landscape that you can explore with your eyes, a kind of map, really, a sort of information map. And when you're lost in information, an information map is kind of useful. And the eye is exquisitely sensitive to patterns in variations in color, shape, and pattern. It loves them, it calls them beautiful. It's the language of the eye. And if you combine the language of the eye with the language of the mind, which is about words and numbers and concepts, you start speaking two languages simultaneously, each enhancing the other.
Everybody is using Helvetica.
Then we thought maybe it's a good idea just to focus on one typeface and try to work with that every time we want to say something.
Trying to say as much with few typefaces as possible, using no colors and only black and white, and trying to see how little you can use to make a design.
The language is, before anything else, something material. It can be shaped in any form you want, and that's quite a liberating thought.
We don't really see Helvetica as something that defines our work. If anything, we see it more as a natural tone of voice, as a part of our everyday vocabulary. Sadly, dislike the way how this typeface have come to define us as the design studio that always uses Helvetica.
Trước phỏng vấn là có ai hỏi anh là kiểu nếu mà món mà ngày nào ăn ấy, món gì thì anh trả lời là cơm nhà ấy. Còn nếu mà thứ nhì thì là món Anh. Nếu mà ai có hỏi là kiểu cái cách mà bạn thiết kế như nào ấy, thì anh hay lấy ví dụ đó là kiểu cách giải quyết các vấn đề cuộc sống hay là kiểu cách đi sang đường ở Việt Nam ấy, nó giống nhau ấy. Kiểu đi sang đường là sẽ phải tìm khoảng trống này, phải biết được là cái dòng chảy nó như nào ấy, đoạn nào nên đi đoạn nào ấy, chậm với cả chắc ấy, với cả quan trọng là không được dừng lại ấy. Ngày xưa mình rất thích đọc truyện Doraemon, mà Doraemon thì mỗi một chuyện ngắn như thế nó sẽ có một cái bảo bối riêng ấy. Nobita sẽ về kiểu bảo Doraemon là có vấn đề này và Doraemon sẽ được cái bảo bối. Nếu mà bây giờ đọc kỹ lại ấy, thì các cái vấn đề của Nobita nó rất là giống nhau, và cùng một cái bảo bối này nó có thể sử dụng cho khoảng 10 tập khác nhau, nhưng mà mỗi một tập thì Doraemon lại dùng một cái bảo bối khác ấy. Cái đấy là cái sự lãng mạn nhân tính sáng tạo ấy.
I built a third eye of looking at things in a different way. And I think that's what makes us, all of us, something special. It's all about not having limits.
All the things that I touch, they're a little bit playful. As I said, it's like serious fun. The funny thing is that I've always been a little bit of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. On one side, I have my own planet. On the other hand, I feel that design should say something, it should be interesting materially, it should be nicely done. It's more like creating a movie. You go from one place to the other, and you have the possibility to create spaces which will give you emotion. Would it be a piece of art? Would it be a design work? Now they don't worry me anymore.
And we need to break out of the gridlock and find ways of smashing the rules. Treating type as image was the big breakthrough for me. And then incorporating that, processing it, experimenting with it, trying to explore the expressive qualities of typefaces and typography, and by unleashing its emotive quality. We need to welcome mutations. We need to think about reinterpretation, so looking at the sculptural form of lettering. I think every graphic designer is in a place of being a spokesman. Because I think graphic design is all about manipulating the message in order to deliver it. So you never have an innocent message. Graphic designers are particularly, I'd say, guilty, but also blessed with that role. And each time a designer is involved in that process, you're being quite political. So, yeah, we're all spokesmen. I've just put my neck on the line.
And creativity is not only a thing which comes to you when you're outside, it's work, you know. It should be something where you say, I'm not creative today, I don't feel creative today. It's really like the plumber comes at your place, looks at the toilet and says, not today. Yesterday I could have done it, but today, try it tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I think once you get over that point, it's much easier once you accept it's just work. My mom still doesn't know what I'm doing. She thinks I'm drawing in some place, kind of Bob Ross style. But once you're over that point, I think we shouldn't take ourselves too serious. Because it's a really nice profession and it's a really nice job, but it's not, I mean, actually nobody cares about it.